Matt, thanks for being with me today. I appreciate it. You are leading quite a life. Tell everybody who you are and what you're about.
Real briefly, by the way, thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely.
I've been doing a lot of podcasts, especially since the whole COVID thing started.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I figured, why not? It's a
Mhm.
good thing. I think a lot of guys have started them up, and why not participate in them? If you've got a little bit of chunk of time and you've got information, to pass out to people to make people better people, why not?
Absolutely.
So, my name is Pat McNamara. I go by Pat Mack or Mac or whatever. I'm a retired military guy. I grew up in Connecticut. I did 22 years in the military. It was all special ops time. I had a whole bunch of different really cool special ops jobs. I was very fortunate in this career. I mean, extremely fortunate. My last 13 years were in a tier 1 special ops unit. And I retired in 2005. Worked for a corporation for a couple of years doing a training thing, and then generated my own business in 2010 under the name of T-Max, TMACS. And I've been doing the training thing under T-Max since then. So like tactical training, marksmanship, fighting, close quarter battle, combat strength training, you name it. And yeah, man, I've been plugging along pretty good.
Yeah, man, you've had quite the career, and I appreciate, after you retire, you're not done, and you're
No.
still out there, you're still getting it done, and you were sharing information, and I appreciate you at least taking the time to talk to me and my audience today, man. I appreciate it.
Right on. Yeah, I don't appreciate the rest on your laurels type of guys, who they've been there, done that, and that's all they can fall back on.
Yes.
It's not what I did yesterday, but what can I do tomorrow for myself and for humanity?
For humanity. I
Yep.
like it. So you have been called the sensei of basic dude stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me what started your basic dude stuff post, and why do you
Yep.
feel that's so important?
It started as a kind of a joke. I was in my living room, sitting on my recliner in zombie mode, in the white, where in their home,
Yes.
it's permissible to be in the white.
Right. You're right.
And I was sipping on a bourbon, and my wife was shopping online because we had some appliances go down, and she found a set of 4 appliances: a refrigerator, dishwasher, microwave, and oven. And she goes, "Oh, this is a good set, rated good price." I said, "Yeah, go ahead, let's get that." And she goes, "Yeah, and we could have our friend Anders install this stuff for us because he's a plumber." And I looked at her, I went, "Rebecca, I could install these things. I'm a dude, man. I'm a dude." And she goes, "You can?" I go, "Yeah, I could do. I know the dude things. I know, how to do all of the dude stuff. Not the advanced dude stuff, but all the basic dude stuff." And then it hit me. And I always I have a piece of paper or notebooks by my easy chair all the time. And I wrote down basic dude stuff. And I just started compiling a list of things. I said, "Rebecca, I bet there's a lot of guys, especially, not so much my age, but younger than I am, who don't know how to do basic dude stuff." And I came up with, I think about 3 pages full of things in about a half an hour. And I said, I think I'm going to record some of these. What do you think about this? And she's my executive assistant,
Mhm.
she's the responsible adult in my life. And I have a lot of ideas, and she'll
Right,
thumbs
right.
up it or thumbs down it. And I'm good with whichever one she does. So she said, "That's a good idea." She goes, "What are some of the things you have on that list?" And I said, like fishing and knowing how to gap a spark plug and how to tie these kind of knots and how to cook a meal. I just started spitballing like that, and it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. So yeah, that's how it started. And I realized that I had created a monster because of the how it was received on social media, not only on like Instagram and Facebook, but when I compressed several segments and put them on my YouTube channel, it detonated.
Mhm.
I went, "Holy crap, I've got something here."
Yeah, and I'll tell you, anytime I see one of those and I'm like, "Oh, I can do that one," I'm like really proud of myself.
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
right,
Pat
right.
Mack said, "This is basic dude stuff." Like, I got this one.
Yeah.
Then there's a bunch of stuff that I'm like, "Oh, ooh, okay." And he
Right.
needs to do slow motion on that one.
Mhm.
I think you'll agree that basic dude stuff is protecting your family. So what are some things that we can be doing to make sure that our family is safe?
Uh, Man, there's a laundry list, but let me just start. Um, Let me think of the most important ones. Nowadays, we are so connected that we are disconnected.
Yeah.
You know, we're stuck in 45-degree syndrome. You probably heard this on posts. I'm so good at saying this because I've said it millions of times. You know, how we're stuck in the white and we're in 45-degree syndrome looking at devices. And this is even while we're out and about.
Hmm.
The world is in a more dangerous place now than it was. It really isn't. It's a lot safer because people are watching, people are looking, things are being filmed, everybody's recording. We're more of a danger to ourselves now because we're so switched off.
Hmm.
You know, so I think the most important thing is to stay switched on. You know, especially when you're out and about. When you're in your home, it's permissible to be in the white. And what I mean, you know, for those out there who don't know what I'm talking about, Cooper's color code, in the white to red. So white, you're in zombie mode. Red, you're fighting for your life.
Right. And there's a few colors in between there, and you always
Yep.
want to try to stay in condition yellow.
Right.
And I think it's cool that you've said the world isn't necessarily dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
even more dangerous. That's a great perspective. I like
Yep.
that. So when you have coached your kids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what are you telling them to do to be safe in public?
You know, when they were little, see, they're older now. They're 17 and 19, and all I do is remind them, "Hey, keep your head on a swivel, keep your wits about you." I just remind them, you know, stay switched on, watch your back, Jack. You know, whatever. There's several different sayings. So because they come downtown with me a lot. If I'm meeting folks or if I go out for a pint, I'll say, you guys want to come down and walk around? Because it's a nice little area, you know, where I go.
Hmm.
And they'll say, heck yeah. And they just go shop bouncing or whatever. And I always say, hey, watch your back, watch your six, things like that. When they were younger, I turned it into a game. Like, for instance, I used Walmart parking lot a lot. Is it Walmart parking lot as an
Yeah.
analogy? I
Yeah.
call it the epicenter for disaster planning. This could be any parking lot, right? Any parking lot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would have them prior to getting out of the car. I'd say, okay, check where we parked. Look around before you get out. Heads on a swivel. And then I would have one of them take point. I would say, all right, Jimmy Mack, you're taking point, you know, or Claire, you're taking point. Walk us to the door, you know, so they could leave. And this is when they were little. So now they're in charge, you know, they're in charge of my security. And they love that, you know.
Mhm.
So now you're creating assets versus having liabilities because they're going to be a lot more switched on their own if this becomes a game. And then I would do, like in military fashion, I would say, okay, this is the door where we came in, so this is our objective rally point. And then along the way, in the guts of, I'm using Walmart again, I would say, okay, this is our en route rally point. If we get separated, we're linking up right here. But you could use this for any busy place, you know, like a state fair, for example, you know, when it's chaotic and you're looking around. And because we go, you know, when they were little, they'd love to go to the state fair, and that's a lot of stuff going on. So I
Mhm.
would use those en route rally points along the way. So, yep, easy.
Very good. You
Mhm.
know, you wrote a fantastic book called Sentinel, and I
Yep.
absolutely agreed with every single sentence you wrote in the book. It's
Nice.
fantastic. And one sentence that you put in there that I really liked was the best way to get out of a sticky situation is to never get into one in the first place.
Right.
So
Yeah.
why is situational awareness so important?
Well, that's just not, that's not only about situational awareness. It's kind of contingency planning, you know,
Hmm.
thinking about what could happen if I take this particular action, you know, the recourse. So, you know, making a good plan prior to driving down a dark road, or not having a good route planned if you're traveling from point A to point B in your car, or intervening in conflict. You know, when you look at conflict, there's times when it's absolutely necessary to intervene, but there's times where you have to go, is this really my place? Do I really need to do this? There's absolutely times that it is necessary, and we should intervene if somebody's in trouble. But we have to, you know, we can't just be spontaneous in our actions. We need to think prior to the recourse. You know, what are the recourses here? What can there be negative outcome? And sometimes, and that's just a matter of a few seconds, that planning in certain situations, just a matter of a few seconds. So, because even a bad decision is less disastrous than indecision. So
True.
yeah.
True. Yeah, I like that. And I like that the quote is, I've always thought of it as in a situational awareness term, but I appreciate you explaining that to me.
Right on.
You've talked a lot on your podcast,
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram and all your different platforms that we in society, we've become very complacent.
Yeah.
Why is that dangerous?
Well, we're relinquishing our natural defense mechanisms as human beings, which is situational awareness and intuition. That complacency, and it's not because you're going to get mugged or robbed. It could be a tree falling,
Yeah.
a car out of control. It could be something completely benign, and you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it is so. Look at for instance, the interweb funnies of people walking around on their cell phones and falling into sewers or into wishing wells or koi ponds or playing Pokemon Go and falling off of a cliff, the kind of stuff like that. So
right.
Yeah, it's we have become very, very complacent, and it doesn't take a lot of work. Like you said, condition yellow. Yellow is just head up, just looking around. You're not in the orange. You're not stressing out. Just like semi-yellow. Even a light shade of yellow is better than white. Around the street,
Right.
because bad things can happen. And I'm not necessarily once again talking about muggings or getting sucker punched by somebody or getting shot, but just happenstance stuff, falling off that curb or into that koi pond
Right.
or walking into traffic.
Right. I was on vacation earlier this year and we were down by the beach, and where we were staying was right next to a marsh and several feet from the beach. And as we were walking up, I'm very proud of my wife. She was, taking us out to the beach at night to go see sea turtles. And she turns the corner and she just stops dead. And so I almost run into her like, Scooby-Doo style, like right in the back. And there's an alligator about 12 feet in front of us.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, she caught this. And then comes this other family up the sidewalk, completely blissfully unaware of anything that is going on. And I had to yell, hey, whoa, stop. There's an alligator right here, And so then everybody's like, oh, okay, let's deal with it. But thankfully nobody got eaten. So
right.
We've kind of touched on this, and you say this in your book. You talk about Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong is going to go wrong. Can you tell us about a time in your career, and keep in mind, this is a family show, a time in your career where Murphy's Law reared its head and you had to make adjustments?
They're countless, especially with, and a lot, you can't mitigate those. You can't mitigate the bad things happening. They are going to happen. That was my point. They are going to happen. How you recover, how you react is the question, and a positive reaction is going to yield positive results. But I've been, injured a bunch. I've failed schools. I've lost friends. I've had a lot of bad stuff happen. But I was able to recover from that stuff, go back to the schools, mourn the loss and recover from it, heal up well, and avenge that any particular failure when I got injured in this school or in this training event. It's just how we deal with it. But we have to understand that too. So I think if you accept the fact that life isn't peaches and cream and that it's going to, be smooth sailing for your entire life. If you accept that and you're already thinking in advance, well, I've been on a really good run. Nothing bad has happened. I am due for something, some kind of hiccup in life. I have to, try to be as positive as possible whenever this thing does happen. I think that if you accept it, then you're already sort of prepared. You're ahead of the power curve just a little bit.
Yeah. I like that. You talk about, being due and that sort of stuff. I know there's what I call it for people who are in conditioned white in public. They're living in a bubble. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
violence doesn't exist in their world because
Right.
they're not violent people.
Hmm.
What are, you know, I'm sure that everybody listening to this show right now has somebody in their life that they love, that they care about, who is living in that bubble.
Hmm.
What's a way that we can talk to them and not be confrontational
Right.
about getting them out of that bubble and helping them understand that life isn't peaches and cream?
Well, one of the ways is to explain that, anything could happen to anybody at any time, and because a lot of these people are probably complacent because they're thinking, well, I don't live in a dangerous neighborhood. There's no dangerous people around. Dangerous things don't happen here. But like I said, that tree falling, that car out of control, happenstance stuff that happens every day in the safest corners of the planet. Um, and then you could also bring up maybe anecdotes. There was a guy, he was sitting like this. He didn't look around before he sat down. And what he didn't notice is that the facade of the building he was sitting next to was falling apart, and a brick fell off of the top of the building and landed on his table and crushed his femur, that kind of thing. And all he had to do prior to mitigate that was just take a snapshot around and look and go, you know what, this is probably not the best place to sit. Let me sit over there instead and tell the building manager that, hey man, you got a facade problem here. Because that has happened to me. That
Mm-hmm.
has happened to me. I was at a shop, a local owner shop business, and he had a giant magnolia tree, beautiful, and everybody used to go and try to monopolize the tables under that magnolia tree, especially in the summer. It was a
Mm-hmm.
growler shop, so
Oh
craft
yeah.
beer,
Yeah.
um, and including me. I wanted that table, but I would always look around. Where's the best seat? Number one, where's the best seat? Right, the best seat that I could take in the most information, and I would always look up, always, because it's a magnolia tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's gigantic. Um, Plus, I'm interested, but I look up and I see a massive dead branch that is barely hanging and it's swaying. I mean, it's massive. I realized if that thing falls, it could kill somebody. So I called the owner out, and it may have been there for several days, because I was sitting there just a few days ago and I looked up and I didn't see it, but this thing was barely hanging on. The slightest wind was ready to knock this thing down. And I called him. So once again, those guys who are, in 45-degree syndrome, this is an
Mm-hmm.
anecdote, just
Right.
an anecdote.
Right.
And it could be a very powerful anecdote, because they'll think about it next time they sit under a tree or by traffic. They're going to go, you know what? I remember that anecdote, because anecdotes are powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just look around. They'll go, holy crap. I can't believe that I am sitting here because, of this thing. But the owner came out and I showed him, and he goes, holy cow. So he moved the table and he put a cone there. He says, and I came the next day, it was Sunday, with a ladder, and was able to get it out for him. And it was way bigger than what I had thought it was. I mean,
Oh
it
wow.
was, I barely touched it and it came crashing down. Yeah.
Man. Well, basic dude stuff there,
Yep.
taking care of a tree
Right.
limb. I like
Yeah.
it.
It's all taking care of your family, and taking care of yourself. That's basic dude stuff too. Yeah. Being in
Absolutely.
charge of your safety.
Well, Pat Mack, before I let you go,
Mhm.
one question that I like to ask all my people is, what is one thing you wish every family in America knew about taking their safety seriously?
I think in light of these times right now, of these times. Oh my God, I'm getting so sick of hearing that. In these times,
Unprecedented times.
yes,
Yeah.
in these hard times, um, just a little bit of preparedness. I mean, how many people got caught with their pants down and behind the
Mm-hmm.
power curve?
Mm-hmm.
We have rules in my family, and my wife is on board with them. My kids are on board. Like, the cars always have gas in them.
Yeah.
There's always supplies. There's always toilet paper. Always. We just rotate it out. I've always
Mm-hmm.
had a stockpile of Lysol wipes. Always. I've always got that stuff. I'm not going to be caught with my pants down like that. So I think that's a big one. That's huge. And so many people, if they're listening to this right now, they're going to go, yep, that was me. I got caught with my pants down, and then I was behind the power curve, and I was struggling like everybody else. I didn't have some residual funds to pay bills. I didn't have ample supplies, and the grocery stores were out of them. So I think that's a big one. I mean, it coincides, and it's directly related to not just safety, but your family's well-being.
Right. After I read Sentinel,
Hmm.
I look at my gas tank now, and if it gets
Yeah.
to three-quarters of a tank, I'm like, I better fill up.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's one
It's a
quarter
good
down.
rule to have. I mean, not, I'm not talking for road trips and stuff like that, but if it's in your driveway, it should be above three-quarters of a tank.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I like it. I agree with it.
Yeah.
So, it seems like you've got a ton of stuff
Hmm.
going on right now. You've got Blaze Ops, you've got your training, you've got a podcast.
Yep.
I know people are going to want to know more about where they can find you. So,
Hmm.
where's the best place to find Pat Mack online?
It's either my website, Tmax Inc. That's TMACSINC, or my Instagram, which is same TMA CSINC, Tmax Inc. My podcast is University of Badassery. It's great. It's very
It is. It is.
it's very feel good. It's very uplifting. It's all about making us's better us's. Yeah. So, yeah, those are the main places right there.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time so much. Pat Mack,
Absolutely.
thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and God bless you in your future, bud.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me, and same to you. Rock and roll, baby.